you got the revised appraisal contingency addendum, which is I think an amazing tool in how responsive the Standard Forms Committee and PAR were to a changing marketplace, right? But now it's a new form, which means it takes education, it takes real world, implications. All of that has to happen. And so as a buyer agent, perhaps I'm struggling, right? Do I go to my simple sentence that says on page 14 of the agreement of sale, I'm representing the buyer, and I simply write in, buyer agrees to assume all appraisal risk? Well, I haven't complicated the deal too much. Those are 5-6 words that any listing agent or seller can interpret. The problem with that is, what happens if the buyer doesn't assume the appraisal risk, meaning they don't get approved for the mortgage because they couldn't? There's just so many things that can happen outside of those 5 or 6 words. So then you have the appraisal contingency addendum, which is very detailed in what the buyer can do should the appraisal not come in at the purchase price. And it affords a lot of protection to the buyer and the seller. So it's a much better form from a risk reduction standpoint. No argument on that. But now it's up to the buyer agent, if I'm representing the buyer, to ensure that the listing agent understands my intent and understands the intent of the appraisal contingency addendum. And so somebody who's not willing to take that time, they may choose the more simple sentence, buyer assumes all appraisal risk, and then be stuck down the road. So it's great points to bring up, but we talk a lot about that in that multiple offer class.